handle the truth.
Do you have a flag?
Do you have a flag? Do you have a flag? That's the question. We got green bubbles. I know that. I know we got NVIDIA's earnings today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little bit of military operation stuff going on in Europe that happened overnight. If you guys aren't tracking that, we'll talk about that. And then how has Bitcoin performed historically on NVIDIA earnings? And we're going to look at this whole year. We got a whole breakdown on how NVIDIA moved for its earnings versus how Bitcoin moved in that same window, and then try to see what we're looking at going ahead, because as of right now, we're looking at NVIDIA having an up or down 7% move off of today's earnings. So we'll see what all of that looks like. But guys, go ahead and take your seats. Let's get this thing started. Let's get it started in here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Alexandra G, Lunar Beaches, see you guys all. Take your seat. Get your notebooks out. It's time. Class in session. Let's get it. Come on. And of course, I still haven't fixed this yet. Man, I get the fail. One of these days, I'll remember to do that. I remember to go in here and hit the button, but I never remember to update this. It's supposed to look, this is supposed to drop down. Okay. This frame is supposed to be completely surrounding the chart prime thing, but there's supposed to be our, classes in session logo above it, and it's supposed to play, and then it goes away. Guys, I give up. I have failed you all. I'll just cancel the channel now, and I'll go just be retired and travel all the time. You guys deserve better than this, and I've let you down. But let's go ahead and bring up the man of the hour, the Mexican Superman, the man, the myth, the legend, the trader extraordinaire, OC guy. What's up, bro? How you doing today, bro?
Oh, doing fantastic, doing really great. Well, then I heard that we canceled the channel. Oh no. Well, all right. Bye.
OC, come back. OC, come back. We've got this. We've got this here. This is my Bitcoin gold bar. You guys remember we talked about this on the show? I said, look, they got this gold bar whiskey. It's putting out a Bitcoin edition. It's got all the nice little digital. It finally showed up a month later. I now have my Bitcoin gold bar whiskey. So we're going to open this when it hits $1 million. Everyone gets a sip until it's gone. However many people are there. The less people that are there, the more we get to drink and get smashed. But yeah, there we go. I got my gold bar. I got my gold bar Bitcoin whiskey in finally. So yeah, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait. $1 million Bitcoin. I put a poll up and said, when is that going to be? 28% have said 2029, 24% said 2033, 32% have said 2034, and 16% said other, and they're supposed to let me know in the chat. So let me go pull up the duo cam over here, and let's go and look and see what other people said they were supposed to tell me in the chat. Not seeing it. Not seeing it. They hit other and then said, yeah, we're not putting any other info in for you, Piper. They said, screw you. It's other. That's the answer, dude. Let's go. I can't do math this early. Eric Wallet said, bro, I feel ya. That's why I drink so much coffee in the morning right there. So I might have to relapse so I can celebrate with you. Lunar Beaches, I will give you apple cider. We'll give you apple cider and you can toast that with us. Dutchy said, what's up, noobs? He's saying that because he's flexing that he's got clogs, Bitcoin clogs there. And Andrea said 2040. I'm hoping it's before 2040, like 2038. There we go. We're getting some dates in there. 2030 for me. Bitcoin banker said, Bitcoin bunker said, okay. I'm hoping mid 2030. That would be nice. Of course, it could just be a pipe dream. We may never get there. We may hit $900,000 and retrace all the way back down. Just and people be like, I was waiting for $1 million. Be like the $100,000 year. When everybody was waiting for $100,000 and they never got it back in 2021. I know that was me. It's why I was so adamant about taking profits on big pump ups this year and did it 3 times. I am still in my short on Bitcoin right now, but we are seeing a little bit of movement this morning. So I put a trade out yesterday in the Discord. I don't know if you saw that one or not, OC. I'll jump over here first and show it to you. Actually, I'll bring you up here with me. Come on up. Come on up. There we go, OC. So I put this trade on yesterday in our Discord short position. And I said, guys, if we get up to the 618, let's look for a rejection on that golden pocket, and that will be our short entry. We'll set our stop loss right here above this previous cluster. And we missed it by $500 on the entry, OC. Now we came down, but we're stuck beneath the 6.66. So we could be looking at this being another attempt here to get up there. So maybe this trade is still open at this point, but it does look like right now we are getting some volatility movement. I talked about this. I said, look, we could be getting a continuation wave. I thought maybe it might come down and bounce here. The candle was there on the 0.66 yesterday when I said this. And now, no, it's broken through. And now I don't know. I don't know, man. We're going to talk about it today, though, because I got NVIDIA earnings coming up. So we're going to get into all that. OC, what are you seeing on your Bitcoin chart? How are we looking? Let's go talk about that, and then we'll get over into the news.
Absolutely. So let's get it here. I know it's a little messy, but let me just bring up
Holy
a couple
Mexican
of
spaghetti.
So I just turned everything on. But yeah, I mean, if you can see throughout the jungle, the spaghetti jungle, we'll see two important parts, right? And let me just hide my drawings. It's not going to get better, but let's try to see through it, right? The first area, it's right here, right? Where the price action is actually bouncing or at least holding at this point. And that's what I want to get to in a second, right? But if we lose this area, and look at this, I mean, we're having a loud order block, highly positive, right? Remember that we were talking about maybe getting back in here. We fell short, but still we are creating a higher low here. This is giving me a lot of hope, all right? Not the great kind of hope, but the good kind of hope, all right? So, I mean, maybe if we are able to hit the 95K, we are still within the Wyckoff range, and at least we can position ourselves within a hedge, all right? But so far at these areas, look at that. If we lose I would call it the 89K, look at the next area of support, 82, 84K, right around the same area that we were talking about. In fact, we created, and this is exactly when I start turn off all of the things in here. There we go. And then we start talking about our next possible area of entry, or at least my next area of entry for DCA spot, which is around this channel. All right, so let's see if we can make it maybe somewhere around here. And by the way, guys, I mean, make no mistake, I will be looking at my oscillator here and looking for some reversal signals. And I'm telling you this because despite this is my next entry channel, I will be willing to try to hunt the very bottom wicks in here around 75, 74 if we get the chance. But so far, we're getting closer, but we are not right there. Let's zoom in a little bit here and talk about the immediate short-term scenario, right? So how are we doing? We have a lot going on after that channel. I think the channel is broken. Perfect. Can we come back in? Maybe on the daily or maybe on the weekly. We still have that little bit of hopium, all right? The very first thing that we need to do is start breaking some trend lines. What trend lines do we need to break? First of all, this trend line right here, all right? That is the very first boss that we need to take over, all right? We have a range. We don't quite have a V-shaped recovery. If we get something like this, we might have in higher time frames, like for example, in 12 hours, this might look like a V-shaped recovery. And then we can start positioning ourselves and look at some Wyckoff. If for some reason we get the sweep of the lows, we hold this area, we don't hit the 83, 84, I think then that's when we start looking for chances to break back into the big channel. And if we hit the inside of that big channel, ding, 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 I think we got a winner, and we're going to have a slightly elongated cycle, slightly. So it did get bounced throughout December. Let's leave it as that for now, all right? Yes, I could be speculating a little bit of a higher high, but we're not going to get there. I mean, look at how low we are. We're not going to be talking about all-time highs at this point, all right? So just saying, maybe preparing for a dead cat bounce might be a good idea. Relief rally, I'm still waiting for you. Come on, brother, you can do it.
I'm waiting. I do think we're going to get a relief rally. We've always gotten one. We returned back to the 52-week simple moving average and gotten our rejection off of it. So I still think that that's going to happen. I just don't know that we're going to set a new all-time high at that point. If we do, it might be nothing more than a swing fail pattern. And right back down it goes and sends us even lower. So, Dave Digital, I got a question, man. Dave Digital said 2033 is a good year. I want to know what kind of sorcery is going on here. He said 2033 is an awesome year. Okay. And then he comes back and he says, I've got a bottle of Merlot from 2033. How in the hell does that work, Dave? um, Dave Digital is from the future. Dave, go ahead and tell us, when does Bitcoin hit $1 million? Give us the future. Tell us all about it. We need that. We need that info from you, man. You're holding out on us. Now I gotta wonder, like, has Dave been just playing everybody in the cycle this year in the space, and he knows all the answers because he's from the future. So he's got a Merlot from 2033. Let's go jump in on the news. Let's take a look at that. Let's do an update real quick. I want to see how we looking on this poll. It looks like 29% say 2029, 26% say 2033, 32% saying 2034, still 12% saying other. So as of right now, 2034, that's when we're looking for that. Dave, is that correct? Do we have that data right? Is it 2034, man? You let me know. Unless you came back in time from 2033 and it wasn't quite there yet. So who knows? Or maybe he's saying that that's an awesome year because that's when it hits and he comes back at that point to buy his Bitcoin. I don't know. We need to know. Dave Digital is holding out on all of us, guys, on all of us. So let's go jump in on the news, see what we got going on over there. We got 50 people watching live right now. I appreciate you guys all being here. You guys are awesome, man. Looking at the news, looking at the crypto metrics right now from Into the Cryptoverse, link down below in the description if you guys are interested in this. Crypto market cap sitting at 3.134 trillion right now. The trend line coming in at 4.68. We're currently undervalued 33%. Bitcoin is sitting 33% below its fair value right now. So XRP hit $100+ in 2033. Isaac is asking, he ain't going to give up the info. Dave Digital is just holding out on us, guys. So yeah, looking at that, 33% undervalued right now. How about extreme fear? We're still sitting in it's 15 right now on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. NVIDIA seasons. This is from the Kabisi letter for X marks the spot today. Let's talk about this. It's officially NVIDIA earnings day. Despite a 35% gain this year, NVIDIA's forward P&E profits and earnings has fallen from 31.0x to 29.5x. The stock is quite literally getting cheaper as it goes up. Options markets are implying post-earnings move of about 7.5% in NVIDIA's stock today. So it could be plus or minus, guys. Plus or minus 7.5% move is what they're calling for. At $4.4 trillion market cap, this implies a plus or minus $330 billion swing in the market cap on these earnings today. The base case assumes one of the largest post-earnings swings in market cap for any stock ever. Buckle up, folks. Yeah, a lot of volatility. As the thumbnail said today, going to see a lot of volatility coming in off of this. More Kabisi letter here. U.S. mass layoff warnings are rising at a concerning pace. 39,000 Americans were given an advance layoff notice in October, second highest since the 2020 pandemic, guys. Because nothing says we care about our employees and we care about their families like Christmas time layoff alerts, right? I'm just saying. These notices are issued under the Workers Adjustment and Retraining Notification, the WARN Act, which obligates covered employees to provide at least 60 days notice before a mass layoff or a plant closing. This marks a 162% spike since August, when 14,900 Americans received such notices. In 2006, which is before the Great Recession, WARN notices had only been higher in 2008, 2009, 2020, and May 2025. So seeing a lot of layoffs rolling in, guys, in comparison to what we saw in the Great Recession and the pandemic when we had most of the world in lockdown. So as a result, the 12-month average rose to 26,927, matching levels seen in 2008. More mass layoffs are coming, according to the Kabisi letter. Let's talk about this. Operational command of the Polish armed forces report a scramble of aircraft with Polish and allied air forces over Poland in response to an ongoing drone and missile attack by Russia against targets in the territory of Ukraine. NATO fighter jets and an early warning aircraft has been scrambled, and the ground-based air defense systems, as well as radio detection and ranging reconnaissance systems, have been raised to a state of maximum readiness. So they have gone to full-on maximum defense status over there in Poland. And yesterday, this is kind of interesting because what do? You go follow Pentagon Pizza Report. True story. If you're in the DC area and there's a lot of things going on, the people that know it first, it's the Domino's Pizza right by the Pentagon. The closest open pizzerias to the Pentagon are reporting above average traffic. Closest Domino's and District Pizza Palace. Freddy's Beach Bar, the closest gay bar to the Pentagon, reporting below average traffic. There's a correlation. I kid you not. There's a correlation between how busy are the pizza places by the Pentagon and how empty are the gay bars by the Pentagon. Meaning, I can't make this up, dude. I can't make this up. Meaning that people are busy at the Pentagon. A lot of civilians and military very busy at the Pentagon when there's things going on that are a threat that require their attention. And how do we know this? Because the pizza places have to do a lot of pizza deliveries and the gay bars get empty. I just read you the data, guys. Just bring you the report so that you know. We had that scenario in the past when those two things have occurred. Something was going on at the Pentagon. We had those two things again. It's I just bring you the news, guys. There are crazy metrics that I know about. So, I can't make this up. Yeah, I heard the pizza place was busier in the past week since 9/11. Yep.
I knew about the pizza places. I didn't know about the bars, though. That is actually hilarious. I'm just saying. It's hilarious.
Just saying. I'm just saying. All right, let's get back to the news. What's that, OC? What you got?
I was just about to say, just like the what was it? The oh man, how do you call this? The pole dancer tip indicator?
The stripper indicator.
The stripper indicator. That's
totally a thing, man. Right? Totally a thing. Hey, you guys will get the craziest metrics ever when you come to the Piper Academy because we're an all source. We do all source intelligence analysis. All source. That's what I did. So I'm looking for all sources of intel, right? This is a historical trend. Is it correlation or causation is the question. But historically, there's been a relationship there. So, all right, let's go on and move on here. Kamisi letter. What's driving the massive job cuts that we just talked about? Well, U.S.-based employers. You guys might think it's AI. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys think that the big factor that's causing job cuts is AI. Let me know in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's AI. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it's other stuff. I want to know that. gay.tracker.piper.com. gaybar.tracker.piper.com. There you go. It's a free indicator with membership. Oh, I can't even with you. All right. I want to see what you guys put in here. I'm going to go ahead and start going through this. What's driving the massive job cuts in the U.S.? U.S.-based employers have announced 1,099,500 job cuts in the first 10 months of 2025. It's the second highest since the Great Recession of 2009. 20.9% of those layoffs were driven by unfavorable market and economic conditions. Others, that's seeing a lot of 2s in the chat. 7% of the job cuts were to reduce costs, while 4.4% were the result of AI. In October alone, U.S. companies announced 153,074 job cuts. It's the worst October in 22 years. 32.9% of October's cuts were due to cost cutting, 20% due to AI, and 13% due to market and economic conditions. So AI, not the biggest factor. It's cost cutting. It's these companies protecting their profit for their shareholders. So artificial AI sitting there as I guess there's a 33% other here. So that would be your highest, and then cost cutting, artificial intelligence, the third out of 4 different reasons that we're seeing here. So and then overall 4.4% for the year. So Bitcoin average, let's talk about some perspectives here. Bitcoin averages, here's your hopium for the day. You guys want some hopium? Have a plate of hopium. Bitcoin averages 2 declines of 20% or more per year. Ether averages 3 declines of 20% or more per year. The S&P averages 4 declines of 5% or more per year. The NASDAQ averages 4 declines of about 5% or more, and then gold averages 1 decline of 10% or more. The VIX spikes above 20, which right now it's still sitting above 20, 40 times per year. So we're seeing that happen right now. The average S&P stock declines 20% once every 12 months. Zoom out and ignore the noise. That's really what we have to look at. And when we take a look over here, let's go jump in on this chart because I want to talk about this chart here. Okay. Right there. We talked about this a while back about swing fail patterns and movements, guys. Okay. And so if we look at this on the monthly and we zoom this out, we're still in a bullish structure. Let me go ahead and hide those. We're still in a bullish structure. We haven't broken this low here of $77,000. And I want to show you guys, we talked about these swing fail patterns since the bull market of last year. What a swing fail pattern is when you come in and you break previous high levels, but it rejects from there. So swing fail pattern, meaning it failed. It did not it didn't do a continuation, and it failed on the swing back to the upside, the reversal, and then it continues lower. Okay. So let's take a look at these here. And we did this a while ago on the show where I took all of these, the 55% pullback, the 77% pullback, aka crypto winter. We talked about the 21% pullback, the 21%, 30%, 31% here that we had another one back in May of this year. And then I said, okay, let's look here. Actually, it'd be from January to May. Let's look here at this swing fail pattern that we set at the $126,000 range. And you can see right there, swing fail pattern. We came in, broke the previous high. Okay. We measured this and said, okay, if this pulls back, what would it be? Guys, we're almost there right now. The average of all of these pullbacks is sitting at 30.49%. We'll call it 30.5% pullback, which would be a normal swing fail pattern to occur. When we look at this level, it's coming in at $87,000, well above what would be a lower low on high time frames, meaning still bullish structure. Okay. And then we're almost at that level. And if you take a look at that $87,000, $88,000, I want OC to go ahead and pull up his chart because OC, you talked about this level yesterday. So let's jump over on your chart real fast before we continue the news, and let's talk about why $88,000 Bitcoin is such an interesting number for us to call out for an average swing fail pattern move. What do you got for us? You're muted.
Sorry, just muted.
There you go.
I was typing too hard that I need to mute myself. Sorry. I've noticed that's a thing. I mean, I'm hearing right now that like it tack. All right, so getting back into the analysis. Getting to this area right here, and let me just try to get rid of this, all right, for a little second. We'll see that at these areas, if we start losing the previous liquidity zone, well, the next area is all the way right down here. Something important is that we have a lot of things happening here, especially since that was the area where on the daily, we broke below the dynamic reactor, and despite we tried to be pegged to it, we actually kind of went even lower until we break out of it, right? Not only that, if we start throwing in here our indicators, and once again, let me just clean this up. Let me just try to get things a little bit more, looking a little bit better. Here it is. We'll see that the indicator is also called out for, and we already got it here through a big area of volume. Let me bring all of the mess in here for a second, all right? And then after that, let me just start moving things out. All right, so there it is. I know it's a little obnoxious, but let's just roll with this for a little second, right? Let me also start getting rid of a couple things that we're not going to be needing. And there it is. So these two areas right here represent a daily support and resistance, and also the previous or the last point before we lose the volume, the area of volume. Not only that, look at that 83, 84. It's right when we have the money flow POC from the whole thing happening all the way up. All right. So that is a crazy support. Not only that, a very important zone. If we lose the 83, 84, dude, that's it. I mean, that's it. We are on trouble, like big trouble, right? I don't think that there will be like a comeback around this one. I mean, if we do something like that, I don't think that we're going to even get this one in here crossing over. But we'll see. Again, I'm not trying to give you fear or anything. be prepared. Remember that I told you that I was going to be maybe trying to hunt these lows, and that is because of this possible reversal. But again, I don't think that if we hit this low, I don't think that we're gonna get back at it anytime soon. But that's why it's very important, this 83, 84 zone, along with the 74 area. Again, let's just try to trade what it's in front of us, but keep an eye on the future and important areas of liquidity. So yeah, long story short, big liquidity, big support at 84, 83.
There we go. I was like, come on, man, load over here. Let's get it. I don't know what's going on with the ticker. Ticker not wanting to load today. There we go. We got a ticker. Ticker, baby, come back. Okay. So I want to talk about some other news here that I got to go over before we get into some other charts, guys. Looking at CNBC, TradFi, how's it looking today? Not bad. Not bad. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a trap move going on it, but right now Dow Jones is up 0.17%, the S&P is up 0.94%, the Nasdaq is up 1.5%, Russell 2K is up 0.8%, and the volatility index. This is your warning sign right there. There's your red flag on that lineup. Above 22, 40 times a year, as we just saw in that listing. That's 40 times a year it does this, and that is the volatility that could cause a lot of shakeouts up and down today. Let's look at the bonds market. It's actually getting up back to 4.12. A lot of people are buying up the treasury bonds right now. When you see the yield go up, or selling it, I should say, selling off the treasury yields right now. When you see that yield go up, means people are selling it off. Piper, did you hear about 3 Mile Island? I have not heard about 3 Mile Island unless you're talking about that they want to restart that up, but I think that was a couple of months ago that I saw that. BC. How are we looking on gold today? Gold back above $4,100, up 1.55%. Silver's at $52, up 3%. Copper is up 1%. Platinum and palladium is up. Platinum beating the crap out of palladium right now, up almost 1.5% versus flat on palladium. Let's go in, talk about NVIDIA. So they're set to report their earnings today at the market close on today. These stocks could be moved by the results. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and talk about what they're saying, though. Here are the whisper numbers that they're talking about that it could move. $1.4 billion beat for Q3 is what they're estimating right now. They're talking about a 7 to 7.5% move on the market. NVIDIA shares can move more than 6% in either direction is what they're saying now. So evidently new data coming in, giving us a little bit lower number than that 7 to 7.5. Look at a 6% move right now on that. But historically, it's actually been pretty bland for Bitcoin. We'll show those numbers here in a minute. How are we looking on the crypto markets? Bitcoin is down 1.6 on the daily, flat on the hourly. Ethereum is down 2.5%. Big movers, 4.5% downside for XRP. 3.0 Zcash. Look, Zcash decided, hey, I'm coming back. I was just playing. We're not really dumping, guys. It's up 7.9%. There is so much manipulation on this asset, guys. So be very careful with your Zcash plays. But I think Crux just did a whole video on this, Crux of Crypto, on Zcash. And he said, yeah, I wouldn't touch Zcash just because of the manipulation behind that's going on it from what he found. I haven't checked it all out yet, but I need to watch it. 3.4% downside on Chainlink, sitting at $13, way off from $800. Monero down 6.4%, Litecoin down 4.4%, and that rounds out the top 20 with H bar at the end at 1.9% downside move. Economic calendar, guys, we did get the 30-year mortgage come out today. Guess what? It went up. You're not getting your 30-year mortgage to come down anytime soon. Your 50-year mortgage, if you feel so inclined, probably never going to be affordable. So just don't do it. Look at balance of trade. We did have a balance of trade deficit today. Again, not as bad as what they were projecting, but imports versus imports had a little bit of a shift and gave us a better than expected on that. We do get FOMC minutes today at 1 o'clock my time. This is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is going to be your verbatim script, your transcript from the last FOMC meeting. A lot of smart people will be gleaning this, trying to figure out if it was more hawkish or dovish. Probably going to be a mix of both, honestly. Non-farm payrolls will be out tomorrow. Again, tomorrow morning, guys, we got NVIDIA closings tonight. Then tomorrow, the market reopens. It's going to have all that on top of this jobs data, unemployment rate, and non-farm payrolls. Right now, they've cooked in 50,000 on the non-farm payrolls, neutral 4.3, currently at 4.3 on the unemployment rate. If this comes in higher and this comes in higher, or if this comes in lower and this comes in lower, actually, it would be this higher, this lower. There you go. Then, guys, we could get a big shakeout or a big pump in the markets because it's saying, hey, look, job numbers are stabilizing. Things are looking better. Don't know that that's going to happen. I actually lean more towards these are probably not going to be good numbers tomorrow. And then, depending on how we're reacting to the NVIDIA earnings, it could just be a flush or a pump. Either way, but be very careful. Lots of volatility in the next 24 hours for us here. Fed Watch Group, how are we looking? Sorry, flashbang, guys. Didn't even give you a warning. Jesus, Piper, you're failing today. We're looking at a 51.1% chance of no rate cut in December right now. Of course, those job numbers that we just talked about could change that tomorrow. All right, let's talk about NVIDIA. I want to go over here first and talk about NVIDIA's earnings in the past. So they've had 3 earnings so far this year, one in February 26th, one on May 28th, and one on August 27th. Each time NVIDIA moved about negative 8.5% approximately. Back in February, it went up 3.3% in the 24 hours following May 28th, and then it went down about 0.8. It's pretty flat, not really much movement at all. No one really cared on August 27th. I want you to look, though, big AI hangover sell-off despite a beat. They beat their earnings in February. Okay, NVIDIA briefly reclaimed the most valuable company status. Market liked the print. It was beat, right? Look here, back in August, beat on headline numbers, but slight disappointment in data center details. Basically a shrug. Meh, that's what they said. How has Bitcoin reacted in this time period? Well, we'll pull up the chart here because I actually have it on a chart. Let's go back here and take a look. We'll go back in time. Gonna go back in time. There you go, Alexandra. A little bit of music for you. Let's go back. Let's put this on the. Yeah, we'll do it on the 4 hour. We'll go on the 4 hour. No, we'll do 12 hour. We're doing 12 hour. We're doing 12 hour. And we're going to go back to February 2025. There we go. Let's get it down here. Let's take a look here. Am I on the right one? I am. February. How about February? That's October. That's December, January. Where is my box here? I had it on here. I promise I had it on here. Oh, that's why. Go back here. Anyway, I had it on here. I don't know what happened to my box. Is it on 12 hour? It might be on the 4 hour. The movements on this, guys, have taken place, and I'll let OC jump in on what he can see if he wants to. But I had this on here for the dates, and I'm not sure why they are not there. Where are you? The moves on this has been 3%. That's just so you know. I'll pull this back up here and show you. I'm not sure what's going on with TradingView. It's being weird, but it's been an average of 3%. So look here, February earnings. Bitcoin had a close about 84,700. It was a 0.42% upside movement. Look at NVIDIA Q1 here for May. It was down 2% in that 24-hour period. And then in August, it went up 1.19%. Summary, NVIDIA does not have an effect on the Bitcoin moon or nuke relationships. If you want the next step, then I said, hey, okay, pull this up. If we're looking at a 7.5%, 6% now, I guess, what could the Bitcoin movements be based on, a ratio of movement here? And you can see we've even had Bitcoin dump while NVIDIA pumped, and then NVIDIA dumped, Bitcoin pumped. So they're actually opposite moves. If it goes up or down today, what can we be looking at? Approximately a 0.29 to a 2% move. OC, let's jump over to your chart and let's just go talk about support and resistances that could be sitting around that point or that 2% move area on Bitcoin. Is there anything even in proximity right now that 2% line would be like, hey, very likely could pump to there and then get a rejection? Maybe give us a trade set up on a swing. What do you got for us on that?
Absolutely. So from the point that we were at right now, look at that. Well, 2% is not that far away. In fact, we were going to be talking about that 6% on the 84, sorry. Another thing that I wanted to point out, it is that it's related in a different way, just to connect the previous classes. It is the Wyckoff topic scenario that we talked about, all right? Why is that? Remember that I mentioned, hey, the news mentioned that we were in here, but I really believe that we are in here and we still can go back down and have the pump and then continuation. All right. So guess what happened on this SOW? There it goes. We had that SOW, the movement to the downside, and guess what? We are waiting for that relief rally. So at this point, we already have a daily reversal. This is important right here on Bitcoin. So, and despite that reversal, remember the reversals depend on how what kind of reversals, right? In some cases, we are looking for just a little bit of a push and then reversing back up. So that's exactly what are we looking for. We already also had a peak performance diamond, and we are again on the bouncing scenario. So that 2% movement from where we are at this point is totally possible. I mean, we can still hold the 89K and get the relief rally right around that zone, right? So what we've been talking about on the daily. So yeah, absolutely, totally possible. Not only possible, it will also feed with the Wyckoff scenario that we've been talking about. So I think that, well, or I hope that we get it. The sooner the better. And well, I guess we'll see how NVIDIA might not influence on Bitcoin price.
Awesome. Yeah, I found it here. I don't know why it wasn't showing up. I had to reset, but now it's showing up for me. So let's go back here and take a look at March, at the March area of what happened there. There we go. Showing up now. So we had an upside move on Bitcoin. This is looking at Bitcoin's chart at the window of the move of NVIDIA. Okay. And you see that we did get a lot of volatility. It came up, did a lower high, and then set itself down for a lower. I think this might be something that we see in line with Bitcoin's move off of NVIDIA today, just because we are still in a bear structure. But overall, this movement here from its top side to its bottom side was about an 8% move on Bitcoin. Pretty volatile overall for the 24-hour period. Looking at, going in from the morning time, it pumps up, does its dump afterwards. Let's go and take a look at the next cycle that we had here for the earnings time period, which is going to be in the May, I believe. Yeah, May, right there. Again, we opened up the markets, we did a pump up, and then we dump with the earnings, right, overnight. So had the same play out there. That total move for May, from its top side move to its bottom side move, about a 4% move there. And then lastly, the last cycle, or the last earnings, I should say, last cycle. We're in cycle talks now. The last earnings that we had was just a straight up move for Bitcoin to the upside from its bottom. Now, mind you, it did come in, do a swing fail pattern, and then head down afterwards. But that move there to the upside gave Bitcoin a move to the upside of about 2.3%. So 2 to 8% range is in line with the post 24 hours of this data coming in. And we're going to get that tonight. So just come over here. We'll say 3% is more in line with what we could see. Guys, we're dumping now off of that 0.66, which is what I was afraid was going to happen this morning. I talked about that at the beginning of the show. I think that if you did not get in that trade, that's gone now. But let's talk about a 2% move. Let's say from down here, what would 2% be? 2 to 3%, I should say. That would be down here at this bottom. And that would be a 3.1% move. So what I'm thinking we may get is a sell-off, and then NVIDIA earnings come in. Everyone gets bullish, and it comes in, and it gives us either a rejection on the 0.66 at 92,000, or it gives us a rejection here inside of the golden pocket between the 0.618 to the 0.66, and then we set up an even lower low. I think that I would actually watch for if I was going to set up a short on this, I would look for it to be right around a double top here with that level, and then watch for it to come down. About a 5% move is what you'd be looking at on that. And a 5% move to the downside with no leverage can be a pretty damn good trade with leverage. OC, if we're to see something similar to that with Bitcoin today, what do you think we're going to see on some altcoins? We got about good 15 minutes that we can talk about some alts if you want to talk about those or maybe gold. It is on a move back up. I'll hand it over to you and let's get into some Mexican spaghetti, guys. Gather around the chef's table. OC serving Mexican spaghetti for everyone. Here you go.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that movement. All right. So I just changed out of chart just so you guys keep tracking. This first one is where we look for our immediate trading. The next one is right here where we talk about the measure range and the main target for looking for that relief rally. This one, it is the last Wyckoff scenario that we talked about, right? And finally, this is where we run some experiments in a long-term scenario. For example, looking for our analysis on continuation targets. All right. So something important is that when we start looking at our Bitcoin coming back down, or even if we call out the bear market at this point, I think we might see something strange happening on altcoins. All right. Either we bounce up on altcoins, and that is because of the let's just say never arriving icon season. So we might be seeing some form of rushing in. Hey, I mean, Bitcoin cycle is over. We never had the go on icon season. Let's jump into icon season. And that is because we've been seeing exactly that at a couple of other areas. Like, for example, let's take a look at ADA. ADA has its, for example, all-time high as well, or a cycle high. Look at this. At this era right here, I mean, 2024 last year, all the way at 131, and then this year at 104. So look at that. We had nothing like we had before, right? So, I mean, we're pretty low, right? And what was the previous cycle low? Well, then that's what I call the absolute zero, right? Something like this. And well, I mean, we're not that far away from that. I mean, if we called out for the bear market, what are we going to go to zero? I mean, I don't really think so. I actually think that we're going to be seeing some pullback and then some bounce up against all odds. And that's when we're going to be just dying slowly like this. All right. So something like we've seen in here, right? So I mean, we need to be a little bit careful. Remember, the cycle is not that it's broken, is that it is never been exactly the same as the previous cycle, right? We have identified just a blow off top for the second or third cycle, and
It's
then
all going to zero.
Cycle. Everything is going to zero, absolutely. But I mean, as you can see, then the double top, no blow off top, right? Right now, it seems like we're not going to get a blow off top, so on and so forth. So it's the same characteristics, different end up scenario. So I believe that we might have this kind of movement in here if we call out for the bear market right after we have a big wick like this one. All right. So let's take a look at something else, like for example, Solana. Solana, it's a little bit different because Solana has been creating all-time highs constantly. Yeah, and despite we hit a top somewhere around the 20th of January 2025, we've been trying to reclaim that top, right? So, for example, Solana will be just a slightly different scenario. And let me just bring, for example, this trend line up in here and call this out. And if we have the bear market, Solana does have a way to go down. So do expect some big retracement on Solana, something like happened in Ethereum back in the day. Right, so let's take a look at a couple of other stuff, like meme coins. Meme coins are I think they're gonna be some of the weirdly stable coins, and I say stable with quote unquote, right? So something that you can actually put your money in there and be secure, right? But look at this. I mean, we've been losing and gaining like crazy. For example, in Bunk, all right. So people seeing it that is very, very, very low, they might want to jump into the boat, thinking that hey, all right, Bitcoin cycle is over. Now it's altcoin season, all right? And fakely pump this up, and I don't think there's going to be that big. Fakely pump this up and then go to that absolute zero. I think that absolute zero is going to go somewhere around here. I'm not even going to try to read those numbers on bonks. Just way too many zeros, right? So I think that's what we're gonna be seeing. Let me wrap things up, or do a little bit of a overview over what we left out yesterday. We're talking about Aster, all right, Aster, and I told you, hey guys, if you're really teaching for this trade, remember what was it?
I barely know her. You said Aster. I said barely know her.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, it took me a little while to get that. All right. So, I was telling you, hey guys, if you're really itching, well, we are breaking structures. Just remember that you need to have a tight stop loss. And if we start breaking and closing back inside, you're out of there. Get the F out of there. But I rather wait for this target to be hit, and then the retracement. If we hold, that's when you enter right in here. So as we were expecting, look at this high danger trade did not play out. Is stopping us out. That's great. I mean, that is just part of what we talk about. And remember, I mentioned that if any, I would be trading this in here. All right. So it did not play it out. We're closing back into the range. That means most likely we are going to be hitting the bottom of the range. And for that, I'm going to be rising a little bit my alert, trying to pair it with this trend line in here. So let me not only lock it, but also add an alert to it. So this one here, and as if you guys remember, we have another one right down there. So let's do exactly the same. And finally, yesterday we had a masterclass dedicated to Gare. Like he mentioned, I want to do some better trading. Could you maybe help me out on what to do? And we talked about detoxing. I mean, detox trading. All right, I did not call it that way, but I think that is a good thing to start talking about once again. Let me go over that. We went, and let me just save it. This, of course. Let's go to here. And then right here, we talked about what is it coming and how to start reading the indicators, right? Guys, remember, we have a totally free course from zero to hero, starting at naked charts. So that's exactly what we did. If you're finding yourself struggling throughout this price action, if you're buying and then the thing goes against you, stop you out, and then goes the right way, and then you try to switch it, and then it fakes you out, and then goes again to the right way, and then once you wait for confirmation and confirmation, and now it's too late, right? You might be using way too many indicators. All right, so apply the at least the three indicator rule. All right, so remember, that's why we created a 3-layer strategy scenario. Just add 3 indicators at maximum 4 and stick with those. All right, if you want to try on one more, turn off one of those, right? And avoid overdoing your trading. Something important that we talked about yesterday with Gare, it was, hey, what is the next possibility, right? And well, we were talking about breaking this trend line, right? Break your trend line, retest, right? Technical double top, so meaningful high. And the next one, we're going to be looking for a next meaningful low. So look at that. This played out fantastically on the 15 minutes. That was a target hit. And then, of course, getting into their resistance. And at that resistance, holding for the flip of the ribbon or the breakthrough. We had a breakthrough, which means further move to the downside. And we're seeing the results right now. So keep an eye on today's night show. We're going to be talking about this. And of course, looking for the next low, which we believe is going to come somewhere around these zones, and that is because of this one in this liquidity zone. But again, we are going to be turning on our indicators to get just a little bit of light in the shadows. But other than that, that's all that I got on, let's just say, meme coins and how things are going to be turning down if
you had a
goes into
request.
the bear market.
You had a request for MYX.
Let's talk about it. All right, MYX.
Yeah, Henderson Go, I believe, asked for that. Yeah, he said, OC, do you mind taking a look and checking on MYX if you have some time, though? So yeah, we want to knock that out real fast, and we'll come back to talk about the NVIDIA chart, what I'm watching on there right now, and then give an update on our Battlefield Bitcoin chart. So
absolutely. So quick advice, my friends. Take a look at the daily. If the chart looks like this, I would say it's not really worth it. All right, but still, you want to jump in with a lottery ticket? Great. I mean, I also buy lottery tickets, right? How can you plan to win the lottery if you don't buy the lottery ticket? But still, we need to make it with being smart about this. All right. So remember, don't make the mistake on just holding this forever or something like this. It doesn't seem like it's like at least at this point a good coin so far. But we are following through this trend line. Let's zoom in. Let's also draw on top of our dynamic reactor and elongate it as we think it might be doing something. All right. So right now we already have a buy signal. Great. We don't buy on those buy signals. We buy on the retrace. All right. So on the retrace, you have your flip of the ribbon, you have your possible reversal, and you have your overlight or your burnout of your white spotting here, which means well, going back up. All right. So at this point, I would say wait for a pullback. I think you're going to get it. All right. So wait for a pullback, look for your next entry, and then off you go. You have a lot of space in between, but also that means that you have a big resistance. Let me turn everything on in here for a second. All right. And here it is. All right. Since this is not that messy, let me work around this. There you go. Look at those resistances. So trying to, I want to say short it at this point because you also have another thing. Wait for this support on the trend line. I mean, I think that will be a good area to look for. It's true that we're making a goose head, but that goose head is a little retracement, further move to the upside for then bigger retracement. All right. So I think let's just adjust our target zones based on what we already have. And look at that. We are basically right on spot on what we see. So yeah, I think this would be a good analysis. Be prepared to be flexible at this point, all right? Not because I just point at some places here in the chart. You just put your entry right there. Remember, we're looking for a combination of price action and oscillator action. All right, so look for that peak. On that peak end up, look for that retracement end up, the closest support, get on with the trade. If we're holding, all right, give yourself a little bit of a wiggle room, of course. Let's do that long position somewhere around here. You stop loss at your resistance and then that wiggle room and aim at the center-ish of the next huge resistance box that is in here, all right? So as you can see, I'm kind of like going for the center-ish of that area right here, all right? And then take profits as we go. Important in this kind of coins, if you're in on this one because it's very low and because it doesn't also have that much history, I'm guessing that you're in for the moonshot, all right? So keep at least a 25% in, like TP number 1, TP number 2, move your stop to entry and keep that 25%. And then you're going to be looking for a daily dynamic reactor, right? So daily dynamic reactor hit in here, but do expect it to be a little bit like that, all right? And have maybe some movements like in here. So it's totally possible. Look at that. But but do not just wait it all out, especially take some profits at the early stages of that trade. Not financial advice, but that's my opinion.
Hey, OC, I'm going to pull you over here with me, bro. Someone said, look at the Dixie. And I said, holy balls, DXY, dude. DXY is on a tear right now, closing in on the 100 mark. We do have a gap up here, guys. I want to make you aware of coming in, but right about 100.10 to 100.15. But the DXY, that's why we're seeing a lot of pullbacks in the market right now. Even the stock side is getting a pullback now from where it was this morning. We're seeing that here. There we go. Dow Jones is now down in the red. S&P's pulled back to 0.5, and the NASDAQ is sitting at 1 right now. So despite that, though, the DXY pumping like crazy. I am looking at NVIDIA here. Guys, NVIDIA's call has been bumped up to like 220 to 240 range. That's where people are watching for. And we do have a CME gap sitting right in that range there. Let me get another box. I was trying to do a rectangle. There we go. Let's put a box in here. I'm actually watching for this level right here to be a target for NVIDIA today. That's going to be coming in bottom side about 202, upside about 207. If we break through that, then we're very likely going to be looking at heading into the Bravo cloud here, which is sitting up about 212. So watch NVIDIA today on these earnings, but watch for this to be our rejection spot around 203 to 207 range on NVIDIA. But yeah, DXY getting a tear right now of movement. Do you have any thoughts on that real fast before we move into the battlefield chart, OC? On the DXY?
Well, I mean, yeah, DXY pointing the other way around, it really is not such a great indicator. I mean, hopium indicator for Bitcoin, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, we're running into big resistance, and we could have a big retracement out of the DXI. It will be one of those things that, hey, we need to wait for the result. We have the plan A and plan B, and we are ready to react, knowing what to do in advance.
Yep, absolutely. Matter of fact, guys, if we do play out the typical swing fell pattern distance here, the average on that coming in again 87,000, that could be about the point that the DXY is hitting that resistance level, and then we get our bounce off of that. So no, go back to that. Go back to that. Yeah, about 87,000. Of course, there is a fair value gap sitting below that, which I wanted to talk about on the battlefield chart because we broke in phase line CME. That's gone, right? And if you guys don't remember what this is all about, it has to do with the battlefield chart. Watch your eyes. Watch your eyes, you guys. It's coming. It's coming. This is the battlefield chart that I've been talking about. This is how I look at charts. This is battlefield planning, intelligence preparation of the battlefield. Okay, and so we did that with Bitcoin based on the support lines that we have in here below us, right? And so phase line CME, which we were up here at phase line 52, which was the 52-week simple moving average when I called all of these levels below. So CME closed. We're past that phase line. That means we've now moved on to phase line fair value gap. Fair value gap here is coming in off of the daily here. And let me bring it in on the daily and you'll see where this fair value gap is. It's sitting right here. This is actually off just slightly. Let me unlock that. Got to move it. Sorry. I don't know why it's moved like that, but there we go. Fair value gap right there. So fair value gap coming in pretty close. Fair value gap sitting right now at $88,000. And that is the fair value gap on this candle over here. If you guys look, you'll see it. There's a fair value gap coming right here up to that point. So this is a fair value gap that we are in right now. Cleaning that out, which sends us down to $88,000. Okay. After that, we don't really have anything until we get down to like the bull market. This would be a bear market, I should say, phase line bear market BM. That would be breaking this previous low that we had back in April. At that point, we are now setting a bearish structure. That would be confirmation to me that on the higher time frame, we are now seeing bearish price structure taking place. Let's get rid of the brush marks. I have to clean up my spaghetti. Clean your plate off, type thing. If we break this level here, guys, we have confirmed a bearish price structure, which means that we're likely heading down at that point. Phase line 50 would be a 50% retracement from the top. Phase line objective golden pocket would be the 618 move from the top, meaning retracing from its market bottom to its marking top, this golden pocket, platinum pocket. And we're going to continue to watch this. But as of right now, we are closing in on phase line fair value gap. When we get our bounce there, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, $88,000 going to be the target line next for that fair value gap getting closed out. So, OC, appreciate you being here today, man. Always. I know you got to run off to Chart Prime and do a class. I'll see you over there in a little while. But you got anything for the people on the way out besides smash the like button?
Absolutely. I actually have a little request for you. There's been a little while since we don't look at the MVP oscillator, and I think would be right now just a great opportunity to see how we're looking since we had one more push to the downside. So, do we have a brighter spot at this moment?
So on the monthly, we don't have anything yet, but obviously that happens at market cycle bottoms. On the weekly, and I talked about this earlier in the week, we did print a bright candle for the weekly, but I also pointed out that we had 5 bright candles that took place from this point to where another low came in before. So I wouldn't put too much on the weekly for this. It is good that we got one, but it does not always play out. I mean, we got one back here too, where we had a little relief rally, did not make a new high and came even lower. So again, relief rally maybe out of this off of the single one, but nothing to write home to mom about it this time, OC.
Let's go. All right. That's still give me some hope, right?
All right, like, a little bit of hopium. Relief rally inbound for OC. Make him feel better. You know what makes you feel better? Not putting OJ in your coffee, OC. I appreciate you, man. Have a great one. I'll see you in a little while over at Chart Prime, and we'll let you get out of here, bro. I know you got to go. So, guys, appreciate y'all joining us here today on the Morning Market Report. We're going to be here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., talking about those job numbers that are coming out Prepare for volatility today. Lots of volatility coming your way with NVIDIA earnings. And then tomorrow morning's job numbers. We've got FOMC notes today. It seems like there's always something there to remind you that you don't know the market yet. It seems that that's the way. There's always something there to remind me. Alexandra G's in here. She knows that song, but she had to cut out early. I think she's gone. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Make sure you tune in to OC tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trade setups with the OC guy. Tomorrow morning, BC Port Corp will be back with Good Morning Crypto. Guys, he warned about the DXY. He's been talking about this 88.6 level. It's a long notification. And turn on notifications for your YouTube, and you'll get notified when all of us go live. OC, BC, myself, the Morning Market Report. Only 5%. Only 5% of our subscribers have notification bell turned on and notifications on their YouTube. So, guys, you're missing out. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., bringing you guys the news, the headlines, the charts, everything that you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe, use some risk management, peace, love, profits. Later.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional, damn it.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning Market Report out. 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 Out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one.
We are heading to Crypto Blood, guys. Stay right here. We're going to redirect to Crypto Blood. Make sure you drop those graduation caps there. Let them know the alumni have kicked in the door. Crypto Blood coming up next.
Morning Market Report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?